Arey bro, this player from CSK is performing so well. I am betting my money on this player.
Arey bro, you are just thinking of one player. I am thinking of the whole team. So I with my friends have invested my all money in CSK.
Bacho, you're betting on one player, you're betting on one team. I'm going to bet on the company. You're betting for one match, you're betting for one season, and I'm going to bet on this one for the next 10 years.
कैसे?
Hey folks, CA Rachna Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very interesting video which is about unlisted shares. Well, I guess it has been more than 3 years since I started my channel, but this is one topic that I'm tackling for the very first time. So I'm not only going to talk about what are unlisted shares, I'm also going to talk about what is the difference between unlisted, listed, delisted and relisted shares. Oh my god, too much of information, right? We are also going to talk about what are the advantages of investing your money in unlisted shares, how to do that, and so many more points. But before I move on with this entire discussion, I would want to thank Bharti and Alvin for their wonderful support. So thank you everyone for supporting the channel. Keep supporting. Now let's try and understand what do we mean by unlisted securities. Why? You're feeling that this is the word that you're hearing for the first time. You know this already. Stocks, have you heard about them? Yes. Have you heard about bonds, corporate bonds? Yes, you've already heard about them. Have you heard about government securities? Array. Then you know this term. All these put together is nothing but, or all these are examples of what? Securities, right? Now let's try and understand what do we mean by unlisted. Anything which is not listed on a formal exchange is unlisted. Examples of formal exchange can be BSE, NSE. Now going back to the pre-bumper wherein I was discussing about me buying shares of CSK, Chennai Super Kings, you have to tell me in the comment section that CSK is a listed stock or unlisted stock. How do you check that? Just go to your broker's portal, example Zerodha, Kite, search CSK. If you don't find it, it is an unlisted security. So now let's focus on the top 5 differences between listed and unlisted shares. So let's go one by one. The very first one is if it's a listed share, it means that it is listed or it is traded on a formal stock exchange, right? I have taken the examples just now, so please don't ask me what is a formal stock exchange now. Second one, if I'm talking about an unlisted share, then it is traded on an OTC. Now, what do we mean by OTC? Over the counter. I'm sure you have been to any bank and asked like, "Okay, पावती पुस्तक आहे का?" So exactly, that's what happens in a bank, right? So that was the place from where the term OTC or over the counter came in. But in today's world, unlisted shares will not be traded only over the counter, but any place other than a formal stock exchange. But if I were to buy them, then where do I go? And all that we are going to talk about it later, right? Let's move on to the second point. Because shares are listed on the stock exchange, therefore obviously liquidity will be high. If I'm talking about unlisted, because there's no formal stock exchange, of course liquidity will be a bit less. If I go on to the third point, of course, if everyone knows that listed shares are regulated by SEBI, and if it is unlisted, there's no regulator, but of course they are also governed by Companies Act. Next one is because listed shares are required to follow certain SEBI norms, a lot of disclosures are required, and in turn I can say that the risk of investing is a comparatively low. But if I'm talking about unlisted shares, because SEBI is not a governing body there, so disclosures are less, and in turn the risk can be a shade higher. And the last point which I would want to discuss is about the taxation aspect. For listed shares, everyone knows about LTCG and STCG, where LTCG will be taxed at 10%, STCG will be taxed at 15%. And very important, when does a share become a long term per se? It will be long term if I buy it and sell it after 1 year of buying it. Okay, so 12 months basically. If I'm talking about unlisted shares, the taxation is a bit higher and the definition of long term and short term is also different. But if you want to know more about that, you will have to watch the video till the end. So now let me try and explain you the difference between unlisted, listed, delisted and relisted stocks in a fun-filled manner. Let us take the example of Shahid Afridi. When he was yet to enter the Pakistan team, I can say that he was an unlisted player. When he entered the Pakistan team, I can say that he got listed in the national team. After a few years, he took a decision of retirement, and that's when I can say he got delisted from the team. And then he suddenly remembered that, oh my god, I'm just 17 years of age, how can I retire? So that is why he got relisted in the Pakistan cricket team. I hope you've understood this small example. If yes, same logic, copy paste for a company. Before it gets listed on any formal stock exchange, I can say it's an unlisted share. When it gets listed on a formal stock exchange like BSE or NSE, I can say it's a listed share. Because of any reason, if the company promoters decide that no, we are not going to keep it listed on the exchange, then it will become a delisted share. And if after some years, months, whatever days, if the promoters decide that we want to get relisted, then that stock will be named as a relisted share. I want you all to tell me in the comment section which was the stock which got delisted in the month of November 2019 at just 3 rupees 32 paise. Today it trades around 1000 rupees. And if you are not able to recollect the name, don't get tensed, chill out, do Anulom Vilom. I hope you got the hint. Let's move ahead with the types of unlisted stocks. There can be primarily two types. The very first one can be subsidiaries of listed parent companies, and the second one can be new age businesses. So have a look at the examples of subsidiaries of listed parent companies. There's something like HDB Financial Services, Reliance Retail, Tata Technologies, and if I'm talking about new age businesses, Chennai Super Kings, Whistle Podu, API Holdings, that is nothing but Farm Easy, and of course, Boat. So, if I were to ask you, Tejas, out of all these, where would you be comfortable in investing?
Reliance.
Reliance. Why?
Reliance.
See? If I'm talking about a company whose parent company is listed, automatically the company gets a brand recognition and automatically I can say that they get a better reach. But these companies can get a better reach, agreed. The big question is, how will this video get a better reach? And for that, you'll have to press the like button and also you can share this video with all your friends. Now let's try and understand how are unlisted shares valued. But before I move on to unlisted shares, first let's quickly discuss how to value listed shares. Now for valuing listed shares, there are multiple methods. Just to give you an example, we have price to sales method, we have price to earning method, we have price to book value method, we have EV EBITDA method and so many more, right? If you want to learn about all these methods, you can surely check out my course on Art of Value Investing, where you will get a hang of all these methods. In all these methods that you can see on the screen right now, there is one common component and that is price. This price discovery is taken care of by the stock market. So this is the benefit to listed companies. The big question is about what about unlisted shares though? For unlisted shares, there are multiple factors. Just to give you one or two examples, if I'm talking about Farm Easy, recently they underwent a valuation round because of which their share prices got impacted. The second example can be of Boat shares. If you have read it in the news, Boat recently filed the DRHP and again an impact was seen on the price of Boat shares. There could be also another reason, something like, let's say, promoters of the company want to buy back the shares which they have issued for ESOP. So that can also decide what could be the valuation of those shares. And one last example which I would want to give relates to the pre-bumper of the video, Chennai Super Kings. For that, I found a very interesting article on Money Control. It says, Chennai Super Kings unlisted shares trade up 25% at 200 to 205 each. OMG. Now, if you read through this article, of course, I would pin the link of this article in the description box. Here you can see that CSK attracted investors due to what? Growing revenues from sponsorships, royalties, merchandise, a comparatively cheaper PE as against or as compared to other global franchisees. That's what the experts told. Plus, they said that the newly introduced Gujarat and Lucknow teams, they were bought at a way too higher price as compared to the prices at which the earlier teams had purchased, had paid the entire amount. One more amazing point here, you can see who is one of the big investors. Absolutely, yes, you can see Avenue Supermarts. Radhakishan Damani is a key shareholder of CSK. And one last point I would want to tell you, in April 2021, unlisted shares of the team traded at 75 to 80 rupees each. So I hope you have understood what all things can lead to the valuation change of all these unlisted shares. I'm sure right now you are getting so much excited and you are feeling like I should stop this video, go and quickly buy the shares. But wait, before that, You should understand what are the advantages of buying unlisted shares and what could be certain points that you should be cautious about before you buy unlisted shares. Once you understand that section, then at the end of this video itself, I'll tell you a very easy way to invest in unlisted shares. Now let's move ahead with two important points. Number one, what could be the advantages of investing in unlisted shares? And number two, what points should you consider before investing in unlisted shares? The very first one is invest at an early stage to be a part of the growth of the company. Important is investing at an early stage because when the company grows substantially and afterwards if it wants to come up with an IPO, at that time you will apply and the answer is that you will not get the allotment, right? So instead of crying at that time, if someone wants that I would invest in the company before even it files its RHP or DRHP, for such people, you can get an advantage of an early entry into the company. That is advantage number one. Second one is possibility of better returns. The example that I told you of Chennai Super Kings right now, based on that Money Control wala article, how it was 75-80 rupees and how it is right now plus at 200 plus rupees, right? So possibility of better returns. Third one is diversification. Of course, right now I'm sure you might be investing your money in small cap, mid cap, large cap. Some people might be investing abroad. And to all these things, why not give, maybe just give it a try to diversify it further into the unlisted space. Okay, but before you take that decision, you should be aware about the following points. Let's go through one by one. The very first one is lack of liquidity. So if you're investing some X amount of money in unlisted shares, there could be a possibility that when you want that money back, at that point in time, there might not be any seller, there might not be any buyer to whom you would want to sell. So liquidity can be an issue. Second one is higher taxes. So just to give you a quick example, if you remember I told you in the beginning of the video how taxes were applicable for listed shares. For unlisted shares, for long-term capital gains, the taxation will be like 20% with indexation, and for short-term capital gains, it is as per your tax slab. So just as an example, if I invest in unlisted shares and if I get a gain, I will be taxed at 30%. One more important point to be considered here is that the duration for a short term, long term is not 12 months, but it is 24 months. Next one is limited company specific data. You remember I told you that unlisted shares are not regulated by SEBI. So comparatively lesser disclosures are required, and that is the reason why you will not get ample data to analyze the company. Next one is high commission. So whomever is the seller. So from whomever you're buying those unlisted shares, they might charge a heavy commission while you are buying these unlisted shares. And one more point is that the ticket size which will be involved here, whoever had offered me to buy unlisted shares, minimum ticket size, I'm telling you with my experience, was somewhere around 20 lakh rupees. So I would have been so happy if someone would have given me an opportunity to invest in unlisted shares at as low as 10,000 rupees. How to do that is what we are going to check out immediately. So now let's try and understand how LeadOff has solved all the problems that we discussed in just the previous section of the video. If you remember, I told you that if you want to buy unlisted shares, then the ticket size can be as high as even 20 lakh rupees and upwards. But LeadOff has solved that problem and said that you can invest with as low as 10,000 rupees also. Second point, if you remember, were higher commissions, but LeadOff says you can invest with commission by paying a commission of as low as just 2%, irrespective of your ticket size. Third thing, very important problem statement that LeadOff has solved is that if you remember, I told you that if you want to do a research of the company that you want to invest in, as such, a lot of documents are not available. But these guys have uploaded research reports for all the shares that are listed on their platform. So now that all these problems have been taken care of, if you want to start your investment journey through LeadOff, let's try and understand the entire procedure of how can you invest in unlisted shares. So the very first thing that you have to do is go on to this website. The link of this website is there in the description box. You'll just have to enter the email ID. Once you enter your email ID and press continue, just fill up your basic details like name, then phone number, password, email ID, and then just hit on the continue button. Once you do that, an OTP will be sent. Input the OTP and then press on verify OTP. Once that is done, I think this part is an amazing part on the website. They very clearly mention that yes, if you're investing in unlisted shares, then there can be certain risks involved. They also mention that whenever you are transferring the shares, then take care of all these points, that such private markets or unlisted markets can be highly liquid. They also mention about a plus point like diversification. Very important. They say yes, do your own research, and once you do that, then click on I have read all the terms of use, and then you can hit the continue button. Once you do that, you will be directed to this home page again. Here we are under the discover tab. Once you go here, you can see a lot of companies that are listed on this portal, and here after hitting on the discover tab, two specific tabs, one is spotlight and the other one is coming soon. Under the spotlight tab, you can see all these names like Reliance Retail, PharmEasy, Boat. All these points were discussed right now, correct? After that, you can also click on the coming soon tab, where you can see some companies like Airtel Payments Bank and few more. Now let's go back to the spotlight section, and out of all these, just to give you an example, assume that I decide to dig down deep into Boat. Now once I click here, you can see that what is the face value of the share, what is price per lot. So here again an important point comes up, is that you have to invest in lots and not only one single share is possible, right? So once you do that, you can see how many number of shares, that is 9 shares. Minimum investment here in this case, considering a transaction fee of 223 rupees 0.2, so 2% basically, total value comes up to 11,384. So if you want to dig down deep further, you can just click on company at a glance. Once you do that, you can see that a research report is given by this portal. You can also see the sector at a glance. You can see the financial data. If you want, you can also go to the financials tab of the company. Once you go to the financials tab of the company, you will see that all the annual reports, latest 2021 report here you can see. And maybe if I just were to go ahead and to see whether company is into profits or in losses, here you can see that company is into profits. Fantastic. Chalo, after having a look at all these basic things, now if I decide, okay, let me try and invest into this company, then I'll have to just hit on verify profile to invest. Once I do that, I'll have to enter my bank account details. I will do that. Just hit on the add bank account button. Well, once you do that, then you will be redirected to this page wherein you will have to add your Demat account number as well. Just enter your basic details like your Demat account number, reconfirm your Demat account number, and then hit on add Demat account number. Yes, you can see that your Demat account has been successfully added. You can just hit the continue tab, and then here if you want to finally go ahead, you can see add funds. Here you can see that the current balance is 0, so you will have to click on add funds first. Click on add funds. Now once you do that, you will see that you will be redirected to this page where you have a choice whether you want to pay by UPI or a bank transfer. So just click on add funds. Once you do that, you will have to enter your UPI ID and hit pay via UPI. Well, once you do that, you will have to go to your mobile, and then you will have to approve this payment request that you get on your UPI app. Once you do that, then ta-da! You can see that your transaction is successful. You can again click on OK, and you'll be redirected to the website again. Now you can see that from add funds, it has turned to invest now. So once you click on invest now, you will be again redirected to this page where you will have to confirm your investment summary. Just check whether you have properly selected everything, the company name, you can see the total investment, stamp duty, and then you can hit on confirm investment. Here you can again see the complete payment tab. Here you can see finally, okay, this much is the amount, and then you can click on pay now. Once that is done, it says that payment is confirmed. Then that's where you can see that yes, finally your order is confirmed, and it also mentions that share allotment is pending and it can take up to 2 business days. And now you will get this meme which says 2 days later. Yes. After that, let's go and understand what happens. Again, go back to the investment tab under your lead off portal only, and that's where after 2 days I could see that yes, the Boat shares have been credited to my account, and I'm so happy that my first unlisted shares investment is complete. If you want, you can also go to the console, because I have an account with Zerodha, so I can see it under the console tab. Here also I can see that yes, 9 shares have been credited. And one more checkpoint, if you want, you will also get an email. Here you can see I have received an email from CDSL India which mentions that yes, I have received 9 shares of Imagine Marketing Limited, and I'm happy that I have gotten 3 cross checks that yes, I have received the shares in my Demat account. Well, I feel very good that I have at least tried investing in a new space which I had never invested before, and I also feel very good of the fact that I have started with the smallest possible amount, that is 10,000 rupees. Few of my friends were also asking me, Rachna, what should I do? I also suggested them that nothing more than the minimum lot size, minimum amount, that should be the way of testing new waters if you want to invest in an area which you have never tested before. Very important point, keep that in your mind. If you remember reading it on the portal also, any exposure above 10% of your total portfolio size can be very, very risky, right? Now, if you finally decide to buy it, you should also be aware about how to exit these shares whenever you want to do so. What could be the different exit strategies? Exit strategy number 1 could be IPO. Now that I have showed you that yes, I have invested into shares of Boat, then the question is how can I exit if Boat comes up with an IPO? Remember, they have also filed the DRHP. I can sell my shares after it gets listed. Possibility number 1. Possibility number 2, the company itself comes with a buyback. I can offer my shares for buyback. Possibility number 3, I can transfer the shares privately. So for example, if Aman Gupta, if he calls me up and says, I want to buy back the shares from you, I want the shares, I can also privately transfer shares to him, but of course I'll transfer that a premium, isn't it, right? Next possibility can be this company can be taken over, can be acquired by another listed company, and my shares can be, again, I can indirectly, I'll be selling my shares in such a case. And finally, Leadoff is also coming up with their own selling platform. So like right now, you can buy through Leadoff, coming soon wala feature hai, but they will also come up with a platform through which you can even sell your unlisted shares. Well, if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to share this video with your friends. And if you want to learn more about how to invest in bonds, you can click here. If you want to know how to invest in cryptos, you can click here. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.